Emotions don't just happen. They hijack your brain before you even know why. But here's where it gets controversial. A major new study suggests your feelings may last longer than the thing that caused them. And we can see this unfold across your entire brain in real time. What exactly are emotions, and why do we have them? At their simplest, emotions are rapid, intangible reactions to what's going on around us. They kick in automatically, without rational deliberation. For early humans, this lightning-fast system was life-saving, helping them flinch from danger, freeze, or flee before a threat could strike. Our environments have changed dramatically since then, but the emotional machinery is still largely the same. And this is the part most people miss. Despite their central role in survival, scientists are only now piecing together how emotions ignite and spread through the brain. A new paper in Science reports something striking. Researchers mapped brain-wide patterns that launch emotions and discovered that once an emotional state begins, it tends to outlast the original trigger. Think of stubbing your toe, touching a hot pan, or savoring your favorite ice cream. The sensation ends, but the feeling lingers. That afterglow isn't in your imagination. It's in your neural dynamics. Blink, and you'll miss the story. To probe how emotions arise from simply sensory events, Carl Dieseroth's team at Stanford used a clever setup, the iPuff assay. A device called a tonometer delivered brief puffs of air to participants' left eyes in a zigzagging rhythm. Each puff about 60 milliseconds long, with unpredictable 3 to 8 second gaps over a 5-minute session. The unpredictable spacing prevented people from bracing in advance. A high-speed camera captured subtle facial responses, blinks, squints, how long the eye stayed closed, while participants reported how it felt. No surprise, the air puffs triggered reflexive blinks and protective squints. People described the experience as unpleasant or annoying, and sometimes kept their eyes closed longer between puffs. But the key insights came from a second group, patients already implanted with brain electrodes to monitor epilepsy, who agreed to do the same task. Their overt behavior matched the first group, reflex blinks, longer closures, but their neural recordings revealed the hidden sequence. Each puff sent a rapid breaking news alert across the brain, followed by a slower, more durable wave of activity. That second wave appears to be where emotion takes hold. Enter ketamine, and a surprising twist. To test whether the second wave truly underpins the emotional part of the experience, researchers administered ketamine to some participants and repeated the iPuff task. Ketamine is FDA approved as an anesthetic and in lower doses as a fast-acting antidepressant. It also briefly alters perception, creating a dissociative state. This allowed the team to separate automatic reflexes from felt emotion. The result? Ketamine left the initial reflex and the first neural burst intact. People still blinked right on cue, but the slower, emotion-linked brain activity faded much quicker. Subjectively, the experience shifted from annoying to something more like a tickle on the eyeball. Behavior changed too. Instead of defensive squints between puffs, participants often kept their eyes open, even knowing another puff was coming. Why? Ketamine blocks a key receptor involved in integrating signals across brain regions, which likely disrupts the process of knitting sensations into a unified emotional state. Of mice and men, and conserved brain blueprints. Because vertebrate brains share a common blueprint, the team repeated the experiment in mice, implanting electrodes, delivering eye puffs, and administering ketamine. The same two-phase pattern emerged. Ketamine transformed the later, slower phase activity in specific circuits without touching the initial burst. With finer-grained recordings in mice, the researchers traced the fast reflexive phase to surges in midbrain regions like the thalamus, our central relay for sensory input, and the periaqueductal gray, a hub for emotional behaviors. The slower, lingering phase lit up the limbic system, the brain's emotional core, and the frontal cortex, areas tied to evaluation, memory, and planning. Then came a crucial observation. Different regions cooled off at different speeds. Activity faded fastest in midbrain structures and slowest in the frontal cortex. The thalamus straddled both phases, consistent with its role as a sensory integrator and a bridge from quick reactions to longer-lasting appraisal. A pattern you can feel, but can we all agree on what it means? This study is the first to show this kind of phase-by-phase, region-by-region divergence in emotional processing. The modeling work suggested that timing itself, the lifespan of those neural ripples, shapes how an emotion is felt and how behavior adapts. If sensory-driven activity dies out before the brain integrates it, you don't learn the lesson. For example, to avoid whatever just bothered you. But if the coupling between fast and slow phases is too strong or too persistent, the brain can get stuck in overstable states. That rigidity has been linked to conditions like depression, OCD, and PTSD, where thoughts and feelings feel unrelenting or out of sync with reality. Beyond illness, these fast versus slow dynamics may be a window into how any brain processes information. People differ widely in how long sensations reverberate into feelings and actions, differences shaped by genetics, development, and life experience. Two people can encounter the same nudge from the world and walk away with very different emotional echoes. Why emotions? And what if we had none? Instead of asking why emotions exist, try asking what disappears without them. If every decision had to pass through meticulous cost-benefit analysis, daily life would grind to a halt. What to wear, what to cook, what to study, whom to love, purely rational evaluation would turn ordinary choices into endless calculations. Emotions provide fast heuristics, tipping us toward action when time or information is limited. The big takeaway. This research captures the brain's first seconds of an emotion being born, a swift, reflexive jolt, followed by a slower, integrative swell that can outlast the trigger. The next frontier is decoding what exactly is represented in that second or wave, how different emotions are encoded, how long they persist, and how experience reshapes those timelines. Here's a provocative angle. If ketamine weakens the persistence of emotional states without dulling reflexes, are we seeing a glimpse of why it can rapidly relieve depressive symptoms? Or are we just flattening emotional nuance? Should we think of some psychiatric conditions as disorders of timing rather than content? And if so, would treatments that target neural timescales, not just neurotransmitters, spark a new era in mental health? What do you think? Does this study justify reimagining emotion as a timing problem across brain networks? Or does it overstate a lab artifact from eye puffs and ketamine? Where do you agree or disagree, and why?